They say no good deed goes unpunished. I thought I was doing a good thing, coming home early to surprise my wife after 3 weeks on the road. My flight landed just after noon. I skipped the usual hotel night, ignored the jet lag, even stopped by that French bakery she loves to pick up her favorite lemon tarts. I was grinning the whole drive home. In my head, I pictured her opening the door in shock, laughing, hugging me tight. I thought she'd cry from joy. Instead, I found her in our bed with someone else. The front door was unlocked, music was playing softly upstairs. I crept in, quietly, still smiling, still stupid. I had her flowers in one hand, the box of pastries in the other, but when I reached the top of the stairs, her voice hit me first, soft, breathless laughter, not the kind you share over coffee, the other kind. I walked down the hall like I was moving underwater. Like each step was another lie I hadn't yet faced. The door was cracked open. I pushed it, gently. There she was, there they were. My brain didn't catch up at first. I didn't scream, didn't throw anything, just stood there, silent, invisible, erased. She saw me, eyes wide. She opened her mouth, said nothing, neither did I. I set the flowers on the dresser, the tarts on the floor, then I walked out. That night, I drove 6 hours straight to my grandfather's old cabin in the Rockies. No music, no calls, no tears. Just the hum of the engine and a pain so deep it made the world quiet. I turned off my phone when I got there. No one needed to find me. Not tonight. The first night in the cabin, I didn't sleep. I sat by the fireplace, whiskey in hand, staring into the flames like they held answers. The heat didn't touch the cold sitting in my chest. I kept going over it, the way her eyes widened when she saw me, like I was the one who had done something wrong. The silence in that moment was louder than any scream. Why morning? The bottle was half gone. My thoughts felt slow, heavy. I kept asking myself what hurt more, what I saw, or what it meant. This wasn't just a betrayal. It was a collapse. Of trust, of history, of everything I thought we were building. I finally turned my phone on around noon. 47 missed calls. 28 texts, all from her. No names. Just call me, please, let me explain. And finally, you don't understand. No, I understood too well that's what terrified me. I didn't reply. Instead, I started remembering, not just that night, but before the late work meetings, the phone she kept face down. That one weekend she forgot to come with me to my niece's recital. How she flinched once when I reached for her phone to check the time. I had called it independence, spaced. I trusted her. God, I was blind. The walls of this cabin, once my childhood refuge, now felt like a tomb, but at least they were honest. Out here, no lies, just wood, wind, and the truth I couldn't escape. 3 days in, the quiet started to feel like drowning. I hadn't eaten anything real, just coffee, whiskey, and the kind of thoughts that leave a man hollow. That's when Jake showed up. My older brother, the kind of guy who doesn't say much, but when he does, you listened. I didn't hear him driving, just saw his silhouette through the window, standing by the porch with a duffel and 2 fishing rods. Figured you'd be too proud to call, he said, stepping inside like he'd done it 1,000 times, so I brought the lake to you. We didn't talk much that first drive out, just the crunch of gravel under the tires, the sound of wind through the pines, but once we cast our lines into the glass-still water, it all cracked open. I saw her, I said quietly, in our bed with him. Jake didn't flinch, just nodded, like he'd been waiting for it, thought I was building something real. I added, turns out I was the only one trying. That's when it hit me. It wasn't just heartbreak, it was humiliation, rage, the feeling of being made a fool in my own life. Jake looked over, his voice steady. You're not crazy yet, you're not weak, you trusted her. That's not a failure. When we got back to the cabin that night, he made a few calls. By morning, I had a lawyer's number, someone he trusted, and a therapist back in Denver who specialized in betrayal trauma. For the first time in days, I felt something shift. The pain was still there, sharp as ever, but it wasn't just mine to carry anymore. I drove back on a Thursday. The house was exactly how I'd left it, too clean, too quiet. She opened the door before I could knock. Her face crumbled with forced relief. James, she breathed. Thank God. Please, can we talk? Inside, everything smelled like lavender and guilt. I just need to know one thing, I said, sitting at the kitchen island. How long? She blinked fast. What are you talking about? Don't, I said. My voice was calm, too calm. She shook her head. It was a mistake. It didn't mean anything, so you admit it? No, I mean, I don't know what you think you saw. I pulled out my phone, tapped the screen. Photos. A text thread, her name, his, timestamps. I didn't raise my voice. Just laid it all out, piece by piece, until she couldn't pretend anymore. Her knees buckled, she sat, hands trembling. I was lonely, she whispered. You were always traveling. I made a mistake. James, please, you made a decision, I corrected. Now you're going to make another one. She looked up, eyes glassy. Call him, put him on speaker, and after that, his wife. She hesitated. I didn't move. She called. He didn't answer, but his wife did, and when the truth unraveled in real time, when the sobs began, and names were dropped, and denial gave way to silence, I stood up. Her best friend, who'd always defended her, sent a single message. You disgust me. She reached for me. Please, we can fix this. I stepped back. No, I said, you broke it, I'm just done pretending it can be repaired. Then I walked out the door, and didn't look back. It hit me 2 nights later. I was alone in a hotel room near the city courthouse, papers spread across the bed, bank statements, the prenup, emails to the lawyer. I wasn't crying, I wasn't even angry, I just couldn't breathe. My chest tightened like a fist was squeezing it shut. The walls started closing. My heart raced so fast it felt like it would tear through my ribs. I staggered into the hallway, collapsed outside the elevator. Someone called 911. The ER lights were cold and sterile. They ruled out a heart attack, panic attack. They said acute stress response. The nurse gave me something to help me sleep and told me to take it easy, but easy was long gone. When I woke up, I saw things clearly, maybe for the first time. There was no fixing this. No salvaging what we had, what she chose to destroy. It was over. That day, I froze our joint accounts. Not out of spite, out of necessity. I had the locks changed again. I started the formal divorce process. My lawyer moved quickly. She blew up my phone, and messages ranged from apologies and begging to veil threats and emotional blackmail. We can go to therapy, she wrote. Then, if you tell people, I'll make sure you regret it. I didn't respond to any of it. Then her father called. James, he said gently, I know she hurt you, but marriages are built to withstand storms. Please, don't throw it all away. I respected him, always had, but my voice didn't shake when I replied, she threw it away, I'm just walking out of the wreckage. I heard the silence on the other end, then a quiet sigh. I understand. And with that, I knew the line had been crossed. There was no way back, and I didn't want one. I moved to Boulder in early spring. The air smelled different there, cleaner, somehow sharper, like the world had been scrubbed and reset. I took a lease on a modest apartment overlooking the foothills, and nothing fancy, just enough space for me, a decent coffee maker, and the silence I was finally learning to live with. Work helped. A former client had reached out when he heard I was relocating, offered me a leadership role on a new development project. I said yes before I could second guess it. To the structure, the pace, it anchored me. Weekends, I started hiking again, joined a book club that met at a local brewery, a mix of teachers, tech guys, retired lawyers. No one knew about my past, they just knew I liked Vonnegut and hated beer with fruit in it. Tuesday nights became my favorite. That's when I joined a cooking group, just a dozen strangers trading knives and stories over pasta dough and chopping boards. No one asked about Daisy, they asked about spice blends and childhood recipes. It felt safe. Some nights still hurt. I'd wake up sweating, heart racing from a dream where she was back in my bed. Or I'd see someone wearing her perfume and the world would tilt just a little, but those moments didn't break me anymore, because now, they passed, and every time they did, I felt a little stronger. A little more real. I wasn't healed, not yet, but for the first time in a long time, I wasn't stuck in the past. I was living forward. Her email came late on a Thursday night. No subject line, just a wall of text, long, meandering, full of regrets. She said she couldn't sleep, that she'd lost everything, that she finally understood what she'd done, said she was leaving the city, starting over somewhere far away, alone. She didn't ask for forgiveness. She just wanted me to know she was sorry. I didn't reply. I read the message once, closed my laptop, and never opened it again. The next morning, I took my usual walk to the office, stopped by the corner cafe where the barista knew my name, met with my team, ate lunch with a coworker who'd become a friend after work. I went to my cooking class and tried making Thai curry for the first time. It was terrible, way too much ginger, but we laughed about it. Not once did I think about her voice, her lies, or the life we'd almost had, not because I had forgotten, but because it no longer owned me. People talk about revenge like it's the goal, like pain needs to be paid back in equal weight, but that's not real victory. Real victory is silence. It's peace. It's walking forward, head high, heart intact, not because you never fell, but because you chose to rise without dragging anyone down with you, and that's how I win.